Hey astronauts, welcome back to the Digital Galaxy Podcast. I'm your pilot, Justin.
And I'm your co pilot, Paul. Buckle up because today in episode 37, we're discussing big Facebook updates. The information in this episode comes from the BBC, MSN, and Yahoo News. So I know everyone's probably sick about talking about Facebook, but they are kind of the industry leader in social media and they keep making some newsworthy items. So, Justin, can you fill the crew in on what Facebook's ruling is on Donald Trump's personal Facebook page?
Absolutely. So, former U.S. President Donald Trump was barred indefinitely from Facebook in January of this year. As you covered in the very first Warp Speed episode, Facebook
Mhm.
created an oversight board that was tasked with deciding if he should be allowed back on the platform or not. The board said that this is a Facebook matter and they need to decide how long someone can be banned for certain violations.
Yeah, so essentially, Facebook can't just ban someone for an undefined amount of time. They have to have clear rules and clear guidelines on how long someone should be banned for, a certain violation or any other rules that they may be violating.
Yeah, so Facebook set a 2 year ban on Donald Trump's account, delivering the promise that they had set an actual timeline for the ban.
Hmm.
So this also includes Instagram and any other platforms owned by Facebook. According to Yahoo News, the vice president of global affairs, Nick Clegg, said this quote, "If we determine that there is still a serious risk to public safety, we will extend the restriction for a set period of time and continue to reevaluate that until the risk has been receded." End quote.
Yeah, sounds like they have the power to ban him again if they see fit. Of course, the former president wasn't ecstatic about the recent news. According to the BBC, Trump responded with, quote, "They shouldn't be allowed to get away with this censoring and silencing, and ultimately we will win. Our country can't take this abuse anymore," end quote. His blog, From the Desk of Donald J. Trump, has been shut down, and he is still banned by Twitter, Snapchat, YouTube, and Twitch at this time.
So even though he may make his way back onto any of those platforms, Facebook has instituted new policies giving politicians free rein to post hate speech. After struggling for years with criticism over its differential approach during the Trump presidency, they announced that Facebook will no longer automatically give politicians a pass when they break company hate speech rules.
Yeah, according to MSN, Facebook says it will now initiate a series of time bound suspensions for violators, starting with a 1 month suspension, and looks to experts to help reevaluate the situation at the end of each period.
It seems like Facebook has been on the defensive for a while, and an immense amount of pressure since the ban took place. Last month, Florida announced that they would become the first state to fine social media companies if they permanently banned political candidates on the platform.
Hmm. Yeah, it certainly sounds like a response to the criticism and possibly, other states that could institute some of these same laws. So it's kind of interesting that they actually made a decision on the ban because I think they were pressured, honestly, uh, by Florida, coming out and saying that they'll fine them if they do ban political candidates or politicians, like you said.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, in summary, Facebook has finally determined a timeline for former President Trump being banned on the platform. He will not be allowed back for 2 years, including all properties owned by Facebook. Other companies have not provided a timeline yet. Facebook also stated that they treat politicians as any other user on the platform regarding hate speech. Politicians will be punished the same way for violations on the social media app when they have historically have received several passes from the rules.
Well, that about wraps it up for this episode. Thanks for coming along. Please stick around to hear a message from our sponsor, Anchor.fm. Also, don't forget to follow our channels on Twitter, YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and iTunes. You can also find this episode in the written form on our website, digitalgalaxypodcast.com. This episode was created by Clearo, a social media app where you are in charge of your data and community. Check it out at clearo.app. Thanks for coming along on our journey, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Digital Galaxy Podcast runs on Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. So let me explain. First of all, it's free. Second, there are creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today.